all a coincidence and there was no corporate powers involved and no money involved and no one said to him.
All right, so get this. Andrew Tate just came forward with something no one else has dared to say about MrBeast. Everyone's been tiptoeing around the accusations, but Tate, he's not holding back. He's diving straight into the truth, or at least what he believes it to be. So, what do you think? Could this revelation be the key to everything? And with MrBeast already dealing with lawsuits and accusations, could this bombshell change everything? What's your take on this? Do you think Tate is onto something? We're diving into all of it today, so stay tuned, because this story is only heating up. Andrew Tate and MrBeast are two big names in the online world, but things have taken a dramatic turn recently. MrBeast, famous for his epic challenges and generous giveaways,
Just started this 10 We're now stranded on this deserted sitting on these trains. I've gathered.
is now facing serious scrutiny. Andrew Tate has stepped up with some shocking claims about him, exploring all the drama and controversies that have been swirling around. Tate's bold revelations have got everyone talking. What do you think about these new accusations? MrBeast's shocking hiring scandal. And just when you thought the MrBeast scandal couldn't get any worse, new allegations have surfaced. The drama just keeps escalating, and there seems to be no end in sight. Over the past 2 weeks, some seriously troubling claims have emerged.
And the other two get $5,000 each. Whoever steps out, if Delaware steps out, you two get $5,000. Ethan steps out, you two get $5,000. It's still $5,000 each.
First off, remember the shocking claim that MrBeast hired a registered offender named Delaware as a contestant? Horrifying, right? Jake the Viking confirmed on Twitter that Delaware is indeed his brother-in-law and a registered offender. What's worse, Jake claims that MrBeast and his mother were fully aware of his background. What's your take on that? Do you think MrBeast should have done more due diligence?
In a text message, a spokesperson for MrBeast said that the shoot was unfortunately complicated by the CrowdStrike incident, extreme weather, and other unexpected logistical and communication issues. So, MrBeast's PR team is blaming everyone but themselves. I don't understand how CrowdStrike prevents people from getting their medication. I don't understand how CrowdStrike gives low-quality food with no protein to contestants doing physical challenges. They were giving out cold oatmeal. I just don't understand how CrowdStrike caused fully grown men to tackle women. Spoiler alert, it's Vegas, it's hot. How is that an excuse?
And as if that wasn't enough, Rosanna Pansino dropped another bombshell. She revealed that a man named Armani, who has a criminal record for serious offenses like battery and kidnapping, was allowed to compete in the Beast Games. Some contestants felt uncomfortable around him, especially since he was allegedly allowed to sleep near female contestants. Why weren't better background checks done? Speaking of the Beast Games, have you heard the latest? It seems like there's been a lot of shuffling with contestants being kicked off and then invited back. Some believe it's favoritism, or perhaps a result of late psychological evaluations. The plot thickens with rumors about MrBeast hiring private investigators to silence critics. Imagine being offered money to fabricate stories. How shocking is that?
I got all the Feastable chocolates. Let's try them and rank them 1 to 6.
I'm gonna be completely honest, totally not biased, because if it sells more, I make more money.
MrBeast chocolates allegation. Also, there are new allegations about MrBeast's Feasta chocolates possibly using child and slave labor. Despite earlier claims of ethical sourcing, the labels promising to be child labor-free have mysteriously disappeared from their website. On the flip side, MrBeast did apologize to Jake Wedd, a contestant who claimed he was tortured during a challenge. MrBeast offered compensation, but Jake only accepted part of it. What's your take on MrBeast's apology? Do you see it as genuine or just a strategic move? And then there's Tate, who accused MrBeast of stealing his idea and using unpaid labor. Tate's GoFundMe campaign faced backlash, leading him to apologize. What do you think about crowdfunding for ideas that later face criticism? But with all this controversy swirling around MrBeast, it's no wonder that big names are getting involved, like Andrew Tate.
They are trying very hard to psyop the youth. And then, the leader of this channel, Mr. Whatever.
Andrew Tate just XPOZ as MrBeast. You might know Tate as a bold and controversial figure who doesn't shy away from strong opinions. Recently, he made a bold claim that James Stephen Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, is secretly using his enormous platform to shape children's views on transgender issues. Tate's comments have definitely stirred the pot, but what does this mean for MrBeast's reputation and influence? Curious to know how this could change the way we see these two figures? Don't miss out. Subscribe and join us as we dive deeper into the drama unfolding between Andrew Tate and MrBeast.
Can we talk about the biggest YouTuber in the world and his normalization of a thing, or is that something that you're not even allowed to talk about? Like, how off limits is that topic? Yeah. Because you know what I'm saying, and it's one of those things where if you put it out there and we were to say his name and associate it, it's like insta hate.
On February 28th, during Andrew Tate's guest spot on the Matt Kim podcast, Kim stirred up some major controversy. He brought up MrBeast and his friend Chris Tyson, suggesting that MrBeast is using his huge platform to influence kids to be more accepting of transgender people. Kim argued that the real issue here isn't just about adults. It's about how this content is reaching and affecting children. He even mentioned that the person they were discussing is so well known that it was not even necessary to name them.
And you're going to sit here and say that that's all a coincidence and there was no corporate powers involved and no money involved and no one said to him. And you're telling me that this all just happened organically and there was no plan at all. If you believe that, then you're an idiot. Then you're an idiot. And it's a psyop.
But the conversation didn't stop there. Tate took it a step further, accusing MrBeast, Chris Tyson, and some big corporate sponsors of being part of what he called a psyop. This means a psychological operation, usually something military groups use to influence how people think, like propaganda. According to Tate, Tyson's transition wasn't just a personal choice. He believes it was part of this bigger plan to sway the younger generation. However, Chris Tyson, who announced her transition last April, has been open about her journey, saying it's made her feel much happier. So Tate didn't exactly hold back when talking about MrBeast. He described MrBeast, the influential leader of the channel, as someone who very calmly and almost robotically declared his support for transgender issues. According to Tate, MrBeast's support might not be as genuine as it seems. Instead, Tate suggested that MrBeast is just going along with it because he's scared of the consequences if he doesn't. He hinted that there might be powerful figures and money behind the scenes, pushing MrBeast to take this stance. Tate even questioned whether anyone truly believes that this support is just a coincidence, or if MrBeast was pressured by unseen forces. He implied that there were serious threats involved, like losing his channel, if he didn't publicly back the transgender community.
And psyops are slow and incremental. And that's why a 5-year-old who's watching it now, who doesn't even truly understand what's going on, by the time he's 15, 16, 17, when he's arguing, saying, well, no, because, I know people who change transgender.
And Tate didn't hold back when he shared his thoughts. He suggested that it's impossible to believe that the push for transgender acceptance in media is happening naturally, without any sort of plan. Tate argued that if someone thinks this is all just happening by chance, they're being foolish. He described the process as slow and subtle, where over time, even very young children who don't yet understand the full picture are being influenced. By the time they grow older, they might believe that people who transition were much happier and more supported. What do you think? Are kids being shaped by what they see? And could this be a way to influence future generations? Tate's message to parents was clear. He believes this is a deliberate attempt to shape the minds of the next generation, warning that children are being targeted because whoever controls the children controls the future. So what's Tate's take on all this? He discussed the issue of MrBeast and his influence, but he didn't directly name him. Instead, Tate mentioned that even though he's not allowed to say MrBeast's name, the impact of what this person is doing is clear. Tate argued that someone with a huge platform like MrBeast should be careful about what they share, especially when it involves sensitive topics like sexuality. Tate reflected on his own past, saying that he has old videos from when he had no followers that he now thinks aren't appropriate for younger audiences. He admitted that with great influence comes great responsibility, and that he's had to be more cautious about his messages as his platform grew. He suggested that if someone in MrBeast's position was involved in something controversial related to sex, it would be more honorable to handle it privately rather than publicly, especially if it might be confusing for kids. Tate stressed that even if there's an important message to be shared, it shouldn't be done in a way that puts children in a difficult position to understand. Tate's main point was that if the intention was to normalize something for children, it should be done in a responsible manner, and he questioned why it would be done so openly if it was meant to be handled with care. Tate argues that exposing children to certain topics, like gender and sexuality, is harmful and shouldn't be a part of their lives at such a young age. According to Tate, the whole point is to influence kids in ways he finds harmful. He's frustrated that people who support this kind of content are, in his view, just proving him right. He argues that no child under 10 should be dealing with these topics, and that they should be allowed to grow up without such confusing issues. What's your take? Should children be kept away from controversial topics until they're older, or do you think it's better for them to learn and understand these issues earlier? Moreover, Tate also feels that his critics are avoiding a debate with him because they know he'd make a strong case. He believes they're just trying to silence him, especially because his views are pretty controversial. In January, a Romanian court turned down Andrew Tate's request to lift the restrictions on him. While he faces serious charges, Tate is accused of human trafficking, rape, and running a criminal group to exploit women. He firmly denies these accusations. So what do you think about all this drama? Do you believe the accusations against MrBeast will change his popularity, or will he bounce back stronger? And how about Tate's stance on protecting kids from sensitive topics? Do you agree with him, or think there's a different approach? Drop your opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more updates on these high-stakes controversies. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.